This is the world famous $1.5 million CS2 knife. And this is a $15 3D printed Karambit Bluegem that I made in my garage. And I'm going to show you exactly how I turned this roll of plastic into this awesome replica. But first, some history on the Bluegem Karambit and why I'm even making one. This skin is an incredible combination of the Counter-Strike series' rarest and most desired events, resulting in a very good looking and sought after item. The crazy thing is, there's actually many CS2 skins out there that cost ridiculous amounts. Take for example the Orb Dragon Lore, wielding a $10,000 price tag, or even the Titan Hollow sticker that literally serves no other purpose than adding a shimmer onto your garbage skins. $85,000. I think this has just got out of hand. All I want is to spin a Karambit in my hand without having to sell all my organs, and that's exactly what I decided to do. Make my own Karambit, not sell my own organs. I made the world's first 3D printed and hydrodip CS2 Karambit, as well as 3 other of the most expensive Karambits to show how overpriced these virtual skins have become. I started off with the gem knives. These are part of the Doppler collection, and the majority of these crystalline finishes have a mixture of colours, but there's 3 that actually really stand out from their bold single colours. The Sapphire, Ruby and Emerald knives, which cost almost $10k, $9k and $14,000 respectively. If you're a subscriber to this channel, you will have probably watched my butterfly knife video, where I imitated these gem finishes with transparent filament, and that's what I plan on doing again. I've also found best results by printing the parts in 2 halves and gluing them together to create the finished product. In order to do this, I need to get a Karambit 3D model to send to my printer. I have 2 options. I could either spend hours meticulously modelling the Karambit, but realistically, I haven't got time for that. So instead, I went into the game files and stole the Karambit 3D model straight from there, importing it into Blender, which allows me to export it as any file I need. All I need to do now is cut the Karambit in half down the centre, and it's ready for printing. Here's the filament I'm going to use for the Sapphire. It's PETG, which gives different results to PLA, but it has a really nice colour to it. I'm slicing the model in some software now, which basically converts the 3D model into code that the 3D printer can understand, and it also does some calculations for me, such as telling me exactly how much filament I'm going to use and how much it will cost, as you can see just here. Let's add that to the total cost for the Karambit Sapphire. I can't wait to see how much this is going to end up costing compared to the real thing once I have finished doing all the painting. Here's the model printing. You can see my printer laying down one layer at a time, and it's pretty satisfying to watch. I make sure to add the cost for electricity on too.
So I need to cool this down so that the glass shrinks so I can get the print off, and I need something cold, and as you can see, pretty cold today, so I'm gonna leave it outside for maybe 10 minutes.
I peeled the parts off with the help of a knife and began work for preparing the paint stage, because the Karambit needs to have a black handle. The first step in this process is covering up the ring and blade in masking tape to keep them protected from the spray paint. I use a knife here to cut off the tape in the complex areas to get a clean finish. Okay, that's the masking all done. I'm going to be honest, I have no idea how much this tiny bit of masking tape costs, so I'll just put like 2p onto the total. The first coat I'm doing is primer. This helps get the paint to stick properly to the handle, and I need to do a few coats. It's a chemical that is used to help paint stick, and it's vital in the next step, which is spray painting on some black. I left these overnight to dry to make sure they were properly done, and then it was time for gluing the 2 halves together with some super glue, making sure to perfectly line up the tips of the blades. If you're wondering why I'm making 2 of these, it's because someone already bought one of these knives off my eBay. I'm also trying to build up my stock for my literally brand new website, CS3D, which you can check out with a link down below. If you're wanting any of the knives I make in these videos, you can find them on here for decent prices, as well as some of the other cool stuff that might pique your interest. This Karambit Sapphire looks great, and you can see the total price just here. Not bad compared to the $10,000 in-game version, but now it's time to move on to the Ruby and Emerald knives so I can finally get to hydro dipping the legendary Bluegem Karambit, and you're not going to believe how good it turns out looking. Here's the filament I'm going to use for the Ruby. Once I had it loaded into my printer, I could print off 2 halves, and these turned out beautifully. After I'd peeled off the Ruby, I started the Emerald straight away so I could save time while I masked off the Ruby knife. And then I also masked off the Emerald once that was done too. These prints went really well, and now they were all masked, it was time to paint them. Just like before, I started off with a light coat of primer, making sure to get an even coat with no drips. Here's me boxing up the prints to take them off to dry, and then I hit them with a heavy coat of black. I was really trying not to miss the spots, and as you can see, I'm even picking up the knives to get in between the gaps. Here's all the knives dried, and just like before, I'm going to glue them all together. And here they are. I love the gem knives because they're pretty simple to make and I think they look really clean. Crazy to think that the 3 knives in front of me would be worth $30,000 if they were in-game. And even crazier, that's only 2% of the price of the one knife I'm about to make next. The $1.5 million Karambit Bluegem. By the way, if at any point in the video you think of an awesome CS2 skin that you want me to make, put it in the comments. I'll do my best to make a video on it. Now this knife is really special. Ohnepixel almost acted as a middleman on the sale of this knife a few years ago, where an offer of 1.2 million euros was given, which is insane. Knives with a case hardened finish like this one are assigned a random pattern when they are unboxed, and there are very few patterns resulting in this 100% blue and purple, just like this. When I hydrodip mine, due to the process of hydrodipping, there will also be a random pattern. Hopefully I get a nice one. The process for making this starts off the exact same, but I'm going to need a higher quality black PLA+. This basically means a higher temperature and much nicer result. Once it was loaded into my printer, I could print off the 2 halves with pretty much the exact same file, but this filament was a different price, so I'll need to update that, but this print turned out beautifully. After snapping off the print, I started the masking process. Notice this time I tape off the handle rather than the blade, and that's because I'm going to paint the blade in ring and leave the handle black. I repeated this process with all the halves and it was time for priming. I decided to go for a nice even coat. You want this to be reasonably thick because the paint sometimes doesn't stick very well. I let it dry for a few hours and then I removed the masks. It looks like I did a good job and there's some nice sharp edges. Using super glue, I stuck the 2 halves together just like the ruby, sapphire and emerald knives and started remasking the karambits. Now they were glued together, I could remask the karambits all the way around, trying to reduce the chances of water getting underneath by giving it a tight wrap. Okay, it's finally time for the hydro dipping. And by the way, if you're enjoying the video, click the like button. It'd really help me out a lot. Anyways, this is a tub of warm water. I have to make sure I fill it up enough so that I can fully submerge the karambits. I'm just going to spray the paint straight onto the water now. I'm using blue and purple because that's the colour of the Bluegem. Okay, here's the moment of truth. Just slowly going down, trying to make sure the paint is attached all the way around. I'm also just going to move it around a bit to try and get the paint to stick to all the sides. Kind of get the right amount of blue and purple as well. I'm just going to try and detach it from the paint on the surface so there's just water around, and then try and pull it out as quickly as possible. Okay, that is looking really nice on that side. On the other side though, there's some kind of gaps where there's no paint, which I don't really like, so I might have to redip it. I'm also going to make sure I dip the ring as well. Yeah, the rings always come out well, there's not really much to that. Okay, I'm going to attempt to do the other one. I'm just going to do a fresh coat of paint. Here we go, I'm just going down slowly. Alright. That's good. I think with this one, I'm going to try and bring it up with the paint because there were some gaps on the one before. To try and get 2 coats. There we go, I'm taking it out. Yeah, that's very heavy on the purple. So I'm probably going to do another coat, but it does look nice. I'm going to try the ring now. Yeah, I'm just going to move it around a bit. Yeah, nice. Rings come out really well. Pretty happy with that. I'll let them dry for a bit and then I'm going to dip them again because this one needs more blue and the other one had a bit of a gap. Alright, this is coat number 2. Just going to try and aim for the blue a bit more. And yeah, that's way better. Look at that. There's a really nice distribution of blue and purple there. Happy with that. Right, now let's try and fill in this gap. So I'm just going to go straight for the blue. Alright, that's going on really thick. I don't want to get too many lumps. I have to try and disconnect it, I think. Oh no, I'm just going to pull it all up. Yeah. Okay, nice. That looks sick. Cool. A lot of blue, but I think that looks sick. Okay, that's much better. I'm happy with both of these. Look at these awesome patterns. I love how unique they are. This one has more of a gradient between the blue and purple, while the others have these veins of purple running through that look amazing, but they're not finished yet. I could still go wrong. First of all, I need to make sure the mask is held well and see how sharp the lines are. Yes, that's good. That's really clean. These are looking awesome. Now they're all dry, I'm going to mimic a sharp tip by drawing this line on the blade with some silver Sharpie. That's the karambits all finished, and here they are together. Comment your favourite knife and check out my website, link in the description. Thanks for watching till the end, and enjoy the rest of your day.